Inquiry into state capture today, describing the events leading to the dismissal of the former Finance Minister Nhlanhla Nene. We're about to be joined by SABC's senior political reporter Mzwandile Mbeje, and of course this DG was a firm supporter of Gordhan when he was Finance Minister, then therefore Nhlanhla Nene's tenure, but we saw a lot of departures from Treasury, and now a lot of the truth coming out. And Mzwai, I thank you for being with us.
Thank you very much.
Tell us what's new, what's significant about what he said today.
It was very interesting, Francis, to hear the former DG really recount the events really that happened after Minister Nene was fired. Particularly what struck me was that phone call he received from Gordhan, the chairperson of the subcommittee on economic transformation, basically telling him that, you know, you are now going to get a Gupta minister with, he will come with his own advisors. So I felt that was quite a bit strange because, remember...
This is big because Gordhan is in charge of the ANC's economic policy, basically. How did he say that you're going to get a Gupta minister? Sadly, happily, indifferently?
Well, they're on the phone call, so I wouldn't know. But what really became interesting was that, I mean, if Fuzile says, then I asked, so how do you know this? He says, how? As DGs, don't you speak about these things? And that's what's going to happen. And then I think... based on what Gordhan has been saying in his testimony, to say there was a number of things, and so all you need to do is to connect the dots really to see what the eventual outcome of all of them was going to be. So it was quite interesting. I mean, he just started, he will continue tomorrow.
What was the mood in the room when he said, an ANC official, before it happened, right, said you're going to have a Gupta minister in Treasury?
No. The thing is, the minister had just been fired. It was on the evening of the 9th. So basically, yes. But as you, I mean, DG Fuzile is a very funny man. So the manner in which he narrates his story, time and again there'll be jokes, and then he will be just sharing it in the way like that he prefers to. Yeah. But yeah, it was quite interesting.
Was it again a testimony where we could say, okay, here's an example of state capture, or more kind of, I guess people can only fill in certain blocks and we'll get the whole picture at the end. That seems to be what's coming out.
I think what he was saying, and because remember after that he had subsequent meetings with a number of people, including SABC Jonas, who basically said, you know what is happening now at Treasury is exactly what is happening at mineral resources. So I think the minister there was Mzwandile. So basically they were saying, I mean, the kind of events that are taking place at Treasury, so replicate those that were happening at mineral resources. So which really for them, I mean, Fuzile says, which basically painted the whole picture for him to say, well, and then this is really the state capture. I mean, the state is really being captured the way things are being done.
Take us back to the conclusion of Gordhan's testimony, because remember, he was quite quiet initially about the claims being made outside the state capture inquiry.
Wow. When he was concluding his evidence, I mean, he made it clear to say, you know what, him as a political activist, that's what he prefers. I mean, afterwards I had a discussion with him. He says, you know, I'm a political activist. If you attack me politically, it's fine. I can take it, but don't do it to my family. And then he challenged those really who are continuing with the allegations. He says, if you have anything, this is the platform, come. So he made an example of himself. He says, I've come here under oath. I said, you can ask me anything. He says, I mean, those people who continue to really make the allegations without substantiating them, so it's not fair.
There is no proof, let's make this clear, that his daughter was favoured in any tenders.
In fact, he said, these are his words, my daughter doesn't do business with the state. And then the issue of the daughter having an account in Canada, he also rejected that. He said the daughter went there to attend, I think, the causes. So he was very clear to say, anyone who feels they have evidence against him must come to the commission and prove that.
All right, so if he's correct, then the EFF is making defamatory and reckless claims. Thank you very much, Mzwandile Mbeje. We'll continue to follow the state capture inquiry for us.